Hi guys, you can see me in your bottom right hand corner screen. I am sorry that I can't be there today. I'm just still really sick and home with sick kids, so I figured I would try and screencast and make this available for you. It's certainly not being there in person, but you're in good hands for asking questions with Carmen, and I just wanted to go through a few things with you today to kind of guide you through this lesson. So we're starting our memoir unit today, and the first thing that I wanted to talk about was selecting your novel. So usually we do a little bit of a thing where we uh, play with a bunch of different novels and see what we want to select. Today we're actually going to eliminate that. We're going to just talk about selecting a novel, and you're going to get straight to the one that you want to do. There's lots of great novels that we have. Something to note is that they are all memoirs. So this is a type of nonfiction. And if you remember correctly, nonfiction, it means that it's true. These are true stories. And there's different kinds of nonfiction novels. There are biographies, there are autobiographies, and there are memoirs. So, something to note is this term here, this sort of root word, graphy or graph, means written. Bio means life. So, biography quite literally translates into the story of somebody's life. An autobiography is the story of someone's life as written by themselves. Auto means self. So auto, self, bio, life, graphy, written. So the self-written story of somebody's life. A memoir, on the other hand, isn't someone's entire life in one shot. It's a section of their life. So depending on the novel that you choose, it's going to be different for each person, how much time they cover, but it's important to know of these terms. So, the other thing that we want to talk about is when you're selecting your memoir, this is one of the good times in life where reading a book by its cover is a good thing. Um, you want to read both the back, which has a little write up on what the story is about, and you want to look at the front cover title, any sort of information in a prologue, which is sort of an introduction to the book. Sometimes there's prologues that give you more information about it. You want to anticipate, begin to predict, what is this story about? What am I going to learn about? That's kind of how you start your engine running, get your brain running before you just start reading a book. It's kind of like warming up a car on a really cold winter's day. You kind of got to get things rolling a little bit so all the parts are moving, and then you take off on the journey. Another good option, if you're really uncertain, is to look on Goodreads. Goodreads is a really great site that has a ton of different information. So I'm going to show you some of those on the screen here. So this is the website for Find Me. I'm hoping this is going to load here. Of course there we go. So we've got Finding Me is one of your options. Goodreads just gives you a little bit of insight into what the story is about. So if you're familiar at all with the Cleveland House of Horrors, it's about one of the victims of Ariel Castro. Ariel Castro was a man in Cleveland who kidnapped three different girls. Michelle, who is the author of this story, was the first person who was kidnapped, and eventually he took Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus, and they were in captivity with him for 11 years. And this is her story. I warn you, this story is not for the faint of heart. It is a super graphic story, but it grabs you by the chest and pulls you in. I had to read it within 24 hours because trying to sleep in between, I was just like in the house with them. So it's a really good read. It really grabs you, but it can be really graphic. So if you're not into that, then don't go for this one. Another popular one, we have a lot of different novels. We also have an audiobook of this, is Tuesdays with Maury. Back in the day, this was on Oprah's book club. It is so heartwarming and wonderful. It's about a sports reporter, Mitch Albom, who works out of Detroit, and it is the story of him reconnecting with a professor from university named Maury, who was dying of ALS. It's heartwarming. They talk about the meaning of life, how to live a good life, and it's fantastic. It's really really heartwarming, and it's fairly short. It's easy to divide into the 5 sections that you need to use for your double entry journal, which we'll talk about later. But it's really doable if you're not a big reader. Another one that I'll mention is All the Way. It is the story of Jordan Tutu, who used to play with the NHL. He is originally from Nunavut and was one of the only Inuit players to ever play in the NHL. It talks about him growing up in Nunavut and then slowly making his way to the Nashville Predators. However, he used to play for the Brandon Wheat Kings, and while he was in Brandon, his brother committed suicide, and it affected him really badly, as it would affect anybody. Him and his brother were very, very close. And so this is the story of his as he was moving into the NHL and descending into alcoholism and how he came back from that. It's a very inspiring story. It speaks or is written very much the way he speaks, so there's a lot of bad language in it. But other than that, it's just a stylistic thing because it's supposed to match the author. So those are 3 different books that are available to you. I would go back and look. There's a bunch of different books that are available in the center. And so Carmen can walk you through those today, and you can take a look, read the back, look at the front, search through it, see what you think, and then select a novel. And that is your task for right now. Gonna learn how to shut this thing off.